It's October 9, 2019, and this is Globespan 24x7 News. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. My name is Samuel Suknandan, coming to you live from Georgetown, Guyana. Here are the major headlines for today. No word on government's intended return to National Assembly. PNCR to examine WPA's proposal of cash transfers of oil resources. Hindus speak out on alcohol-fueled activities with celebrations. Guyana and Qatar to strengthen partnership in oil and gas sector. And the penitence market gets $8 million upgrade, but vendors still unsatisfied. Over to you, Kingsley.
Thank you, Samuel. Now here's a look at what's happening in the world of sports. We'll tell you that Japan's Osaka won her second WTA title after defeating Barty in the China Open finals. Also, the teams for the inaugural Dragon Stout Streetball tournament has been finalized. And in Hero CPL, they're expected to host two women T10 matches ahead of the finals and semifinals this week. We'll give you updates in these stories later on in the newscast. Samuel, back to you.
Thanks, Kingsley. And now for a look at the news. A police corporal is now under close arrest after the Tactical Services Unit following the discovery of 50 pounds of cannabis in the car he was traveling in. His suspected accomplice is currently on the police guard at a city police station. It was reported that police received a tip-off and intercepted the car being driven by Corporal 21741 Bacchus of Aubrey Backer Road, South Rhymeville, Georgetown, with his friend in the passenger seat. During a search of the vehicle, police discovered a large quantity of cannabis wrapped in several parcels in the trunk of the car. They were both arrested and further interrogated about the cannabis. According to information reaching Globespan 24x7 News, the accomplice, who hails from Rose Hall, Quarantine, is a known criminal character. It was also revealed that police had the corporal under surveillance for quite some time before his arrest. While a date for election has been named, a return to the National Assembly was something that many Guyanese are unsure of. And while the government has maintained that they will, on October 10, maintained that they will return to the Parliament on October 10, the opposition is still not in support of that move. Kingsley Bryant will take you through a series of events that led to this issue. Let's take a look.
President David Granger, following his announcement that general and regional elections will be held on March 2, 2020, had signaled his intention to see the political opposition return to the National Assembly to facilitate the extension of the 3-month period for the holding of these elections. This is in keeping with Article 1067 of the Constitution, which states, notwithstanding its defeat, the government shall remain in office and shall hold an election within 3 months, or such long a period as the National Assembly shall, by resolution supported by not less than 2/3 of the votes of all the elected members of the National Assembly, determine, and shall resign after the President takes the oath of office following the election. The government's intention to facilitate a return to Parliament in these extraordinary circumstances have been touted to be a precautionary method. The approved extension by the National Assembly will ensure that elections 2020 cannot be successfully challenged legally, and that is to ensure an extension of the elections date by a 2/3 majority of the National Assembly is granted. At the party's press conference last Friday, PNCR Executive Member and Attorney General Basil Williams, at that instance, expressed that should the opposition not return to Parliament when and if it is reconvened, their actions would be tantamount to creating a constitutional crisis. At that juncture, he also posited that should the opposition fail to return to the National Assembly, the President would be forced to enact what he deemed the doctrine of necessity. With the President's intended date of October 10 fast approaching and the main political opposition maintaining their stance of not returning to the National Assembly, there's a feeling of anxiety as it relates to the life and validity of this 11th Parliament. Globespan 24x7 News made contact with the Parliament office, but is still to receive further clarification on the processes and correct timelines, given the Parliament has been in recess since the fateful night of December 21, 2018, and throughout the numerous court cases that followed. Clerk of the National Assembly Sherlock Isaacs, in an invited comment, noted that none of the chief whips have relayed their intention to return to Parliament, and as such there is no order paper or agenda planned should the House reconvene in October. While it has been acknowledged that the dissolution of Parliament is not synonymous with the naming of an elections date, it is understood that the two processes usually accompany each other. It is also understood that the government can return to the Parliament within the confines of their majority, but will be unable to seek the necessary extension. The question still remains, what will be on the agenda when Parliament reconvenes? Or is the life of this Parliament already expired? Another question is it fast approaching the same? For Globespan 24x7 News, this is Kingsley Bryan.
Thanks, Kingsley. The Caribbean region has recognized 5 Caribbean judicial officers and legal professionals who have made significant contributions to the development of international law. The inaugural Eminent Caribbean Jurist Gala and Award ceremony was held on the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad on Monday evening. Those honored at the ceremony were outstanding Guyanese diplomat, former Secretary General of the London-based Commonwealth Group, Sir Sheerdat Ramphal, the Jamaican Judge Patrick Robinson from the International Court of Justice, Trinidadian Justice Anthony Lucky of the International Tribunal on the Law of the Sea, and Guyanese Nationals Ambassador Dr. Bertrand Ramcharan of the United Nations Refugee Office and Professor Duke Pollard, who served as a judge on the CCJ. Speaking at the event, Guyanese Sir Sheerdat Ramphal said true homage should be paid to the advancements the region has made in its legal standing.
We mark tonight a reality that began even as our Caribbean civilization itself began. In Justice Anderson's iconic words, making the Caribbean a fact of public international law. It is that reality we truly honor.
Ramphal further relayed that as the region takes its place in a world where globalization has now become key to sustenance, it was an honor to be a contributor to the process along with his colleagues who were honored.
We feel fortunate indeed to have been instruments through which the Caribbean's role in international law has found fulfillment. That from this small corner of the world, the rule of international law has raised its strengthening hand. Is a regional input to which we have all in the region contributed, and of which we should all be proud.
The renowned statesman said those advancements were not without their challenges, and while advancements were made, this process must be seen as incessant and is the responsibility of all to upkeep this image of jurisprudence.
And this responsibility rests with all lawyers, corporate lawyers, trial lawyers, judges, magistrates, law officers, general practitioners, specialists, and academics. All must help our generation to reach to such higher levels of perception and attainment within the wider framework of our being one nation, one region.
Meanwhile, President of the CCJ, Justice Saunders, in his remarks said that it is not by accident that the realm of international law had identified as the first area in which the jurists would be honored. The event was organized by the Caribbean Court of Justice Academy for Law, the educational arm of the Trinidad-based CCJ, and was established to, among other things, promote the recognition of judges and other legal practitioners who have made a consequential and lasting contribution to Caribbean jurisprudence, and to memorialize that contribution. Meanwhile, the Department of Youth Empowerment Unit recently concluded its 13th Youth Leadership Training Program as the unit continues to deliver on its mandate to provide empowerment opportunities for the nation's youth. The training, which was conducted at the Madawini Training Center located on the Linden Highway, targets youth leaders and those with leadership potential across the 10 administrative regions of Guyana. The unit executes a number of programs and has collaborated with facilitators from various organizations to ensure that the training provided is relevant and beneficiaries of the respective programs could receive the requisite skills and knowledge needed to enable them to become better leaders and change agents. The skills taught over a period spanning 2 weekends commenced on Friday, September 27 to Sunday, September 29, and concluded on the weekend of Friday, October 4 to Sunday, October 6, 2019. The youth leadership training empowers youth to develop soft skills and leadership through the use of practice and theory, job market readiness, and creating youth organizations, among others. The culmination of the program saw 64 youth people being from various regions across the country graduating with skills to not only contribute to their personal development, but to that of their respective communities. Remember to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest news in Ghana, the Caribbean, and around the world. Join us after these messages for more news with Shakima Day.
Globespan GT is a proud sponsor of Globespan 24x7 News. Here are some exciting news from Globespan GT. Fares have dropped for next year, starting January 20 to August. American Airlines has cheap fares on non-stop flights to New York. Flights are as low as $306 one way and $540 round trip, all tax included. Take advantage of these cheap fares on American Airlines non-stop flights to New York. Globespan has also cheap fares to Miami, Toronto, Canada, and the Caribbean. Call Globespan GT in Georgetown at 227-1701, that's 227-1701, or in Rose Hall call 337-4298, and New Amsterdam at 333-6230. That call Globespan GT in Georgetown at 227-1701, that's 227-1701,
or in Rose Hall, call 337-4287.
And in New Amsterdam at 333-6230.
Globespan is a proud sponsor of Globespan 24x7 News. Globespan has some cheap fares to Guyana on American Airlines flights. Fly from January for $234 one-way and $512 round-trip. Take advantage of these cheap fares on American non-stop flights from JFK to Guyana. That's non-stop flights from JFK to Guyana, starting as low as $234 one-way and $512 round-trip. And also has the cheapest fares for Christmas that starts as low as $7.99 round-trip. Globespan celebrating 25 years in business with over 10 offices to serve you. Call 718-845-0437. That's 718-845-0437. Or book online at globespan.com. Book early and save.
Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. Now for more news. President David Granger on the sidelines of the accreditation ceremony for the new ambassador of Qatar to Guyana relayed that as a cohesive unit, the parties in the coalition are yet to come to a finite agreement on the WPA's proposal of cash transfer to Guyanese from the expected oil wealth. The head of state said the parties are neither for it or against it, but have taken a neutral hold further discussions on the issue so more information can be obtained. On the sidelines, the president is quoted as and for what purpose. He further added that as a unit, open quote, the coalition parties will need to decide on how much will be coming and the profits must be shared with other national needs, infrastructure, social development, agricultural development, and so on. President Granger told media operatives that we do not know how much we are getting, so we're asking our partners to address their minds to how much needs to be spent and for what purpose and to whom. Just last week, opposition leader Barry Jagdeo expressed his support for the cash transfer initiative, but said it would be an incentive-based process for the poorer people of Guyana. Meanwhile, two residents from what was once considered the suicide capital of the country, Blackbush Polder Region 6, took their own lives on Tuesday. Both persons hailed from Maibikuri. It was reported that Amar Jeffrey, 29, ingested a poisonous substance before forcing his reputed wife to do the same. Globespan 24x7 News understands that the man and his wife were having marital problems. Jeffrey died on Tuesday morning, while his wife is currently in a stable condition. Meanwhile, in a separate incident, a mother of two ingested a poisonous substance. It wasn't clear why she committed the act. Just last year, the record of deaths by suicide stood at 141 persons, but this figure does not take into account the amount of unreported cases. Meanwhile, the Guyana Hindu Dharmic Sabha has condemned the action of a popular promoter who posted an ad on social media advertising a party bus slated to be held for the annual Diwali motorcade. More in this report. Yet another year has come where the Guyana Hindu Dharmic Sabha has to call on promoters not to use religious events as an excuse to host alcohol-fueled activities. This call comes once again after a flyer was circulating on Facebook advertising a Diwali motorcade party bus meant to partake in the annual Diwali motorcade slated for October 26. According to President of the Guyana Hindu Dharmic Sabha, Dr. Vindhya Prasad, they try to keep the event on a spiritual level, as celebrations of Diwali is one free of alcohol.
Because we have 8 of these every year, and we want to maintain that sanctity because it's the prelude to Diwali, which is on the 27th. So we urge those persons taking part to adhere to it in terms of what we ask. No alcohol, it's vegetarian, and it is in keeping with the message and theme of Diwali. So we engaged those persons who had that ad up, and they agreed to cancel it. It was not in any acrimonious manner. They agreed to cancel it, but we will, as always, encourage the thousands of Guyanese who come out in all of their grandeur to come and enjoy the procession, as always.
According to Dr. Prasad, the promoter cancelled the event, but such an issue should not have been conceptualized or implemented in the first place.
Well, we have always, whether it's Diwali, Bhagwan, Navratri, whatever our festivals are, during all of these festivals, we stay away from alcohol. We have a vegetarian diet, and it's sacred, and a lot of it is associated with our puja or prayers. So we ask, if you're holding an event, do not associate any event with any of those things, using the name Diwali, Bhagwan, any of those things. We just ask you, please don't do that, because it is disrespectful in every way, and we'd like you to desist from that.
Pandit Deodat, president of the Golden Om Dharmic Youth Organization, also commented on the issue, citing that Guyanese must learn to respect others' religion.
I'm very disheartened when promoters would use sacred holidays such as Deepavali and Bhagwan or any other religious holiday that has great significance to its followers, to use it as an opportunity to promote events that bears vulgarity, that bears alcohol consumption, and anything that lends towards the desecration of the sacredness of these festivals. And this has not been a new phenomenon.
For Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day. In other news, a newly constructed revenue office and renovated city constabulary outpost are among upgrades to the La Penitence market. These rehabilitative works total more than 8 million. On Tuesday, a team from the Georgetown municipality visited the market to assess the ongoing works. Councillor for Constituency 10, David Alicock, stated that works on the market commenced 6 weeks ago and is 95% complete. Presently, The City Constabulary Division, Revenue Office and a sanitary block have been renovated. There is fixed ventilation, new steps, ceiling and flooring as well, he stated. He further explained that the construction has been divided into 2 phases, with phase 1 expected to be completed by next week. Plans are already being streamlined for the commencement of phase 2 in 2020. For phase 2, we recognize that 90% of the roof will have to be done over. It is mostly the northern, eastern and southern sides that need a total resheeting of the roof, he noted. According to city engineer attached to the Georgetown Mayor and City Council, Rashid Kelman, the newly renovated Revenue Office will provide much relief to the vendors when paying their rates and taxes. He also noted that with the newly renovated Divisional Office for the City Constabulary, security will be improved. The project was made possible after funds were allotted to carry out major rehabilitation works at other markets in Georgetown after a tendering process by the Georgetown Mayor and City Council. Despite these works, the vendors said that the market is not attracting any kind of business.
It's not a bad area, because what is it? There's only for them, you see. They're not looking after other people, you know. They're looking after them. Look, if you look at the condition and zinc and everything, it's very atrocious, very bad. Yes, this market has been neglected for a very, very long time. The condition is very deplorable, atrocious. Whenever there's rainfall, you have to close your stands. Our stand was leaking so bad that we had to zinc it, if you notice, right through the
right. There were many meetings they had at this market in which stallholders made proposals as to what to do, what not to do. And none, I can assure you, that I know of put into place. I don't know if you went around and checked out the toilet facilities in the New Wings. For the past, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 years, about 7 or 8 board missing. They probably waiting on stallholders to go and restore that also. I mean, is it fair? When we look at it in the overall, when we really look at it in the overall, what is the benefit? When the month up, you have to find a money to pay the rent. What is this rent is for? We clean our own place, sweep up, pack up, put it in the disposal, right? But when this question you ask me about security and build back market and nicer back, I don't know. I really don't know about them.
I don't see no development in this market. And I don't know how long this is going to go on for. Because I for sure tell you the truth, I can't sit in a place where I have no business. We're looking for business. Then when I buy here, I thought it's going to be a business. There is no business. A place flop, market flop. I think got market here, right? We're looking for money. You got a lot of stocks, yeah, but you're seeing people for come and buy. You understand? So, I don't know. Is everything down?
In other news, Head of State President David Granger, in his address to newly accredited Qatar Ambassador, His Excellency Ahmed Ibrahim Abdullah Al Abdullah, noted that Guyana and Qatar have enjoyed cordial relations since the establishment of diplomatic ties 23 years ago on August 23, 1996.
Guyana welcomes this important initiative and remains committed to working with the government of Qatar to enhance air connectivity in an effort to link the Caribbean and the Middle East. I wish to convey Guyana's interest in deepening cooperation with Qatar in trade, capacity building and education. I also wish to suggest that new fields of cooperation, especially in energy and tourism, be explored.
President Granger further added that Guyana is keen on enhancing partnership with experienced oil producers such as Qatar.
I'm confident that your appointment as ambassador will provide opportunities for fruitful discussions and exchanges in the oil and gas sectors of both of our countries.
Meanwhile, His Excellency Ahmed Ibrahim Abdullah Al Abdullah in his remarks affirmed his commitment on behalf of the Emir of Qatar to work with Guyana to develop and strengthen ties to benefit both countries.
Respect for treaties and international law and the maintenance of regional peace and security. As you know, Guyana and Qatar strengthened their bonds of friendship further with the signing of the bilateral air services agreement only last month on the 24th of September. This would pave the way for future cooperation in investment, in trade, and in air travel, and also hopefully in the movement of people.
And here we now have brief remarks from the Qatar ambassador. We do apologize. Moving on, ExxonMobil Guyana is continuing engagements in coastal regions across Guyana to ensure that communities are informed about its operations. Updates are simultaneously being provided on Payara, a third project which is scheduled for startup in 2023. Last week, one such event was staged at Lake Minstay in Region 2. We are also providing and showcasing information about all spill response and equipment. We are also working with the CDC in this effort to better educate and have awareness on how we would respond in the event of an oil spill emergency, explained Senior Director for Public and Government Affairs, Deidre Moe. This activity was preceded by an open house on the Payara project environmental impact assessment in Region 4 on September 30, 2019 at the Pegasus Hotel. Attended by close to 200 persons, it featured information desks at which subject matters experts were available to answer questions. Many of those in attendance were environmental science and engineering students of the University of Guyana. ExxonMobil Guyana has been seeking effective ways to enhance engagements of moving forward. Trying to channel the feedback from folks at previous projects and engagements, the consultants have developed a non-technical summary of the environmental impact assessment to provide key information and learnings from those assessments, Moe said. Similar engagements will be held in Regions 1, 3, 5, and 6 over the next few weeks. We'll tell you now that the Guyana Telephone and Telegraph Company has donated over 200 Pinktober t-shirts to the Mayor of Bartica, Guilford Marshall, in support of that city's Cancer Awareness Walk. According to the Mayor, the annual activity, which takes place on October 23rd this year, is part of a partnership between the Bartica Teachers Union and Nurses of Bartica. The Mayor noted that the Cancer Awareness Walk in Bartica will start from 6 p.m. from the cenotaph and will go through the streets of Bartica. The walk will end at the basketball court, where those participating will engage in a planned activity. A number of local artists will also be performing. On September 6, GTT launched its annual Pinktober event, which is aimed at educating Guyanese on cancer care and raising funds to support treatment for cancer patients in Guyana. The company has month-long activities planned to observe Cancer Awareness Month. GTT's 5 and 10K walk and run event occurs on October 26, 2019. We'll now take a short commercial break. Do stay tuned.
To keep up with breaking news in Guyana, the rest of the Caribbean, and on the international scene, like, follow, and subscribe to Globespan 24x7's Facebook and YouTube news page. Join the conversation, get live news on the go, and news and details right here on Globespan 24x7 News.
Travelspan is a proud sponsor of Globespan 24x7 News. Travelspan has some cheap fares to Guyana on American Airlines flight. Fly from January for $234 one-way and $512 round-trip. Take advantage of these cheap fares on American non-stop flights from JFK to Guyana. That's non-stop flights from JFK to Guyana starting as low as $234 one-way and $512 round-trip. And also has the cheapest fares for Christmas that starts as low as $799 round-trip. Travelspan celebrating 25 years in business with over 10 offices to serve you. Call 718-845-0437. That's 718-845-0437. Or book online at travelspan.com. Book early and save.
Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. Now we'll take a look at our bridge reports. And we now introduce you to Tech Bite with Kumar Doshi in India.
Thank you, Whitney. Namaste, salam, good day everyone. This is TechBeat on Globespan 24x7. Today on Tech News, we will discuss emerging technologies in agriculture. Venture capitalists have invested a whopping $4 billion in agriculture technology. Modern farmers have demonstrated a willingness to embrace these inventions and new techniques. Here are some of the emerging technologies that can literally change the agricultural landscape in the years ahead. Sensors help agriculture by enabling real-time traceability and diagnostics of crops, livestock, and machines. There are various sensors that help the growth and monitoring of crops. One such sensor is soil and air sensor that will give real-time feed about the health of the soil and moisture in the air. The farmers can tweak the nutrition of their crops accordingly. Another technology that can be used in agriculture is satellite imaging. A remote satellite imaging has become more sophisticated. It allows real-time crop imagery. This isn't just bird's eye view snapshot, but images in resolutions of 5 meters per pixel or even greater. It will let the farmers know the conditions of the crops without actually standing in the fields. Vertical farming has been a science fiction topic as far back as 1950s and perhaps further. And now it's not only scientifically viable, but will be financially viable within a decade. Vertical farming is the practice of producing food in vertically stacked layers. This gives the ability to grow crops within urban environments and thus have fresher foods available faster and at a lower cost, since there will be minimum transportation cost. These are just some of the technological advancements that could change farming forever. Like automation will increase the crop production and reduce stress on the farmers. Livestock biometric that could help the close monitoring of livestock health. Genetically designed food, drone monitoring systems, etc. So, how will this help the developing countries like Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago? These technological advancements in agriculture will increase the production of crops and also the quality. It will increase the export quantity and hence bring in more money into the country's economy. This could also create more jobs in the country and also increase the country's GDP. Technology is transforming nearly every aspect of the modern life, and farming is no exception. Farmers will benefit from each of these digital transformation trends in agriculture, giving the freedom from concerns over the environment, a better yield crop, and the ability to change their crops in new and efficient methods. This wraps up for TechBeat for today, but we will be back with more emerging technologies in agriculture. I'm Kumar Doshi bringing you tech news from India, back to the studio in Guyana for more news to come. Thank you.
Thanks, Kumar. We'll now shift our attention to what's happening in the world of sport with Kingsley Bryan.
Thank you, Samuel. Now here's a look at what's happening in sports. We will tell you the teams for the inaugural Dragon Stout Streetball Tournament has been named. An official press release from Dragon Stout brand coordinator Jamal Beard has noted that the final 16 teams that are expected to compete in the inaugural Dragon Stout Community Cup Streetball Tournament have been finalized. According to the statement, the participants who will be competing for over $500,000 in prizes are Northeast La Penitence, All Boys Town, Leopold Street, Broad Street Sapphire, LA Ballers, Bent Street, Gold is Money, Back Circle, Sparta Boss, Alexander Village, Future Stars, Tiger Bay, Melanie B, Anson McCall All Stars, and Showstoppers. According to Beard, the teams have been selected from various environs and several regions, which provide a national flavor and true representation of the growing streetball culture. Beard in the release further noted, and I open quote, the event is the start of an exciting project, which has the capacity to become a staple of the local streetball and community landscape, and to attract a mass following. End of quote. He also added that presently systems and structures are being created and fine-tuned to ensure a memorable event that will leave a lasting impression in the minds of the spectators and, more importantly, the players. November 15 is the stipulated date for the beginning of the elimination tournament. The other playing nights are November 22 and 29, with December 6 set as the date for the final showdown. All matches will be hosted at the National Gymnasium. And turning our attention to CPL, we'll tell you that Hero CPL is expected to host 2 women T10 matches ahead of the finals and semi-finals. The Hero Caribbean Premier League, the Government of Trinidad and Tobago, and Cricket West Indies are partnering to host 2 T10 matches ahead of the men's semi-final and final. The best women's cricketers from across the Caribbean will be playing in the NLCB Challenge on October 10 at 3 p.m. and the Course Invitational on October 12 at 12:30 p.m. CPL is indeed thankful for the continued support of the Government of Trinidad and Tobago and the Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, through the Sport and Culture Fund, whose invaluable contributions to these games have highlighted his passion and commitment towards the development of women and sportsmen. The Honorable Minister Shamfa Kujo said the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs is pleased to partner with the CPL for the upcoming women's T10 cricket. This partnership is in keeping with the ministry's Pink Rain campaign, which promotes women and girls in sport. End of quote. She also added that the government will continue to facilitate the growth and development of sport in Trinidad and Tobago by creating opportunities and providing the necessary support towards the achievement of total participation. End of quote. Kuja concluded that these matches represent a brilliant opportunity for the region's top women cricketers to showcase their talent in the shorter format of the game. And she said it is the hope that the NLCB Challenge and the Course Invitational are forerunners to a sustainable women's league in the future. She also expressed delight that CNC3 will show the games live in the Caribbean, with Sportsmac broadcasting live to the rest of the Caribbean. YouTube will carry the games live to the rest of the world. Hero CPL would also like to thank their sponsor partners, the National Lotteries Control Board, or the NLCB, and courts who will support both the matches and the teams, and also their production partners Sunset and Vine, who will again be offering their world-class coverage. Pete Russell, Chief Operations Officer of Hero CPL, said, open quote, Hero CPL is always looking for ways to innovate and give more chances for fans to enjoy world-class cricket. These T10 matches with the best women's cricketers from across the Caribbean are just the latest example of our tournament pushing to be more inclusive and forward-thinking. We are delighted to be providing the chance for these players to be part of our event and would like to thank the MYSA, the CWI, the NLCB, and courts for helping to make this happen. End of quote. And internationally, Osaka wins second straight WTA title after defeating Barty in China Open Finals. We'll tell you that Naomi Osaka won her second straight WTA title as she fought back from a set down to beat world number 1 Ashley Barty in the final of the China Open. The battle of the two women to most recently hold the top ranking did not disappoint, with Japan's Osaka coming out on top 3-6, 6-3, and 6-2 after 1 hour 50 minutes in Beijing. Two-time Grand Slam champion Osaka was coming off her victory on home soil at the Pan Pacific Open and beat US Open champion Bianca Andreescu and title holder Caroline Wozniacki on the way to the final. The early omens were not promising for the 21-year-old as she served up 2 double faults on the way to being broken in the 6th game and losing the opening set. The fight back for Osaka started in the 6th game of the second set as Barty hit a forehand long to trail 2-4. Osaka held serve to level at 1 set apiece and an immediate break at the start of the second left in her control. It was the third title of 2019 for Osaka and 5th overall, but she revealed that she needed to give herself a pep talk after her early struggles in the final. She basically said, and I open quote, basically I was telling myself to keep fighting, even though my attitude was really trash. This is a final. I'm really privileged to be here in the first place, so keep fighting. End of quote. The pair will resume their budding rivalry at the WTA Finals in Shenzhen later this month. Osaka clinching her place in the 14 million showpiece earlier this week. And that has brought us up to the end of our sports news for today. Join us tomorrow as we continue to keep you updated on what's happening in the sporting arena. Back to you, Samuel.
Thanks, Kingsley. And that has brought us to the end of today's news. Before you go, here's a recap of our major headlines. No word on government's intended return to National Assembly. PNCR to examine WPA's proposal of cash transfer of oil resources. Hindus speak out on alcohol-fueled activities for its celebrations. Guyana and Qatar to strengthen partnership in oil and gas sector. And the penitence market gets $8 million upgrade, but vendors still unsatisfied. Thanks for watching Globespan 24/7 News. On behalf of myself, Samuel Suknandon, the news and technical team in Guyana, New York, and India. Until next time, do have a pleasant rest of the evening. Goodbye for now.